I welcome you to this second day hearing on the issue of agreement between Nigerians and China. This is my remark. Please, one house, please. Honorable members, honorable ministers, head of departments and agencies of government, and other members of the public, I welcome you all to this resumed public hearing on the review of all Nigerian bilateral loans and contractual agreements. Before we proceed with the business of the day, I would like Nigerians and the general public to know that the House of Representatives Committee on Treaties, Protocols, and Agreements has an important role in reviewing and drawing the attention of federal government to content issues relating to due process, compliance with extant laws, transparency, accountability, local content provisions, procurement process, drawdown/disbursement schedules, management/commitment fees, issues and repayment mechanism of these loans, and commercial contracts agreements in line with our constitutional mandate. The National Assembly, through this committee, will work to ensure that proper due diligence is taken by various MDAs before, during, and after negotiations/signing of all bilateral loans and contractual agreements. We believe that both the government and Nigerians appreciate the fact that bilateral loans agreements are not just about infrastructural development, but also a matter of national interest and national security, because the future of our children and unborn children are involved. As such, the effort of this committee to review the status of these agreements to ensure that it is done with the best interests of the Nigerian people in focus, monitor the progress of its operation, management, and administration by the relevant agencies of government, in line with the terms of the agreements, and recommend a more transparent and open process in accordance with our enabling laws and international best practices, should be seen by all stakeholders in Nigerian projects as a welcome development. Based on public statements and reporting alone, especially since our last meeting here, we have heard and seen comments and analysis of major television networks and national dailies by key actors, which have not accurately conveyed the severity of the issues and what the current structure of the loan/contract agreements may portend for our nations if not properly planned and managed well. We have heard some people ask why we are focusing on only Chinese-related loans and commercial contracts. We would like Nigerians to know that we aren't focusing on only Chinese loans. From what we know, Nigeria has over 500 bilateral loans and commercial contracts agreements and investment treaties with different countries and institutions. There is no way the committee will do a thorough job without segmenting the issues based on countries, institutions, or MDAs. Thus, it must be clearly noted that this is not targeted at only China, neither was it designed to impede the development of the railway sector and other infrastructures, but rather to ensure full disclosure, transparency, accountability, utmost good faith, and value for money in both the bilateral loans and commercial contracts agreements entered into by the Nigerian government. The loan agreement we have seen so far shows that government officials charged with the responsibility of representing Nigeria in these issues were more desperate to just take the loan at any condition, possibly using non-negotiated loan agreement template rather than go through the rigors of diligent technical review of negotiating specific clauses with clarity and for the national interest. For instance, it is a common practice that most international loan agreements will adopt sovereign guarantee and a neutral international arbitration center, as opposed to waiving of our national sovereignty in an omnibus manner, especially in dealing with countries like China, known to possess an absolute state status on their institutions and corporations. Even in situations where countries, out of desperations and weak economic position, waive their national sovereignty in bilateral or commercial or contractual agreements, the immunity of sovereignty waiver clause will usually be clear and categorically state specific asset associated with the loan for takeover in event of default. However, the immunity clause in most of these agreements before us are not only ambiguous, but very obscure. And without recourse to the fact that the Nigerian government had issued circular on the subject matter with reference number SGF/OP/1/X3/X/1739, dated 11th August 2014, which is an executive order, that provided guidelines on issues of waiver of sovereign immunity clause during loan and commercial agreement negotiation. We expected government officials negotiating and signing these loans to fully comply with these guidelines and also ensure that clauses are couched to clearly reflect same. Arbitration centers of bilateral loans agreements are known to be generally on neutral grounds, unlike what we have in most of the Nigerian-China agreements, where Hong Kong, that is also governed by China law, was designated as an arbitration center. For the avoidance of doubt, it should be noted that Nigeria is a signatory to many international conventions, including the International Convention on the Settlement of Investment Dispute between States and Nationals of Other States 2006. Nigeria signed that particular convention. And the Convention on the Recognition and Enforcement of Foreign Arbitral Awards, New York, 1958, amongst many other conventions. We should therefore be concerned when government officials tell us that awards by an international court of arbitration cannot be enforced in Nigeria. It can be enforced by these conventions. Also, as party to the United Nations Convention on Jurisdictional Immunity of States and Their Property 2004, which Nigeria is also a signatory, every Nigerian should be deeply worried by the omnibus nature of sovereignty waiver clause contained in most of these loan agreements, including the status, management, and operation of this project, for which we are borrowing heavily for. We have also noted comments on the facts that the National Assembly approved these loans. So why turn around to prove it now? Well, I remember stating in our last meeting here that executive scrutiny and oversight by the legislature on government policies, programs, and projects can be done at the beginning, during implementation, and at the end of implementation. That's why we are the watchdog to other arms of government. From our experience, the MDA signed these commercial agreements in billions of dollars, then go to the President and Federal Executive Council for approval to execute, including securing loan facility through Ministry of Finance and Debt Management Office, and then proceed to negotiate terms of this loan before coming back to Mr. President, who then write to the National Assembly asking for approval for billions of dollars to do projects without attaching negotiated loans and commercial contracts agreement details. That's why we're on this job. This has been the practice by successive governments, not only APC government, so that people don't look at it as a party issue. The National Assembly have assumed the authority to deal with the issues now and for all. That's why we're on this mission. So it cannot be blamed to the APC government alone. And that's why I say, my colleagues, these are not an PDP, APC issue. It's the issues of Nigeria that we must deal with, so that the general public should know that. This approach is the reason we have a government representative signing empty pages of loans agreement repayment schedule and other key documents required for the loans agreement to become effective. We have commercial contracts signed in US dollar why the loan agreement for the execution of the same contracts were signed in Chinese yuan currency in the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy / Galaxy Backbone Limited. We have also seen reference made in the commercial contract regarding BOQs, but none of the commercial contracts agreements submitted to us, especially by Ministry of Transportation, has a single BOQ attachment. We have noticed from documents available to us that commercial contract prices signed by Federal Ministry of Transportation alone, within this is over $33 billion without any clear-cut financing arrangements. Most of these commercial contracts agreements didn't also have local content clauses and were witnessed by non-properly designated and authorized officials. We have checked the documents, where even a deputy director signed when there's a director of that office, where also other officials sign without designations. We have also seen those. The documents are here. There are also observable issues relating to procurement process, evidence of 15% advance payment, payment of management fees, drawdown process, and remittance, and a whole lot of other matters, which we are strongly poised to ask questions on and hopes to get honest answers that will fine-tune the current process. Plans for possible renegotiations of some of these agreements in order to serve Nigerians better. We also witnessed where a senior person from ministries of foreign affairs in Chinese government makes some comment that those clauses doesn't matter. So that calls for renegotiations, and let them remove those clauses that doesn't matter. So these are some of the issues we will be asking questions about and seeking clarifications from both the negotiators, managers, and end users / implementing agencies, lenders and the contractors to enable Nigeria to understand everything relating to these bilateral loans and contractual agreements. On all major infrastructure projects being executed by the government, we believe that we can't keep approving loans without asking relevant questions and address these practices which date back, as I said, not only APC government, but successive government in Nigeria. I'm a PDP man. It existed during PDP time, and it's continued to exist even now, and worse. I therefore would like to use this opportunity to call on key actors and all stakeholders to stop the politicization of what we are doing here. For us, if you believe in the progress and sustainable development of our country, then you should naturally cooperate with the works of this committee to see to it that there is guarantee of value for money in all government expenditures and borrowing plans, as well as government policies, programs, and projects. I want to sincerely thank my honorable distinguished colleagues, the honorable ministers who have and everything. You have to adopt it.
Okay. I confirm that the documents we submit.
Raise the document. Provide the documents there.
That's it?
That's the only document submitted.
Yes. Based on the letter
you will give us a copy that you have adopted one. You adopt it, and you give us another copy.
Apart from the one we submitted.
You have only one copy?
Yes. But maybe my colleagues will have another copy.
Is that?
My colleagues may have another copy.
Yes, so please.
We came with one.
So submit that copy to us and get another copy, but adopt it as the original and authentic.
Okay. Okay. I confirm that this document before me, this letter dated 14th August 2020, as well as the attachments thereon, are authentic and submitted by the Debt Management Office in response to the inquiries from this committee. Thank you.
Why you limited your submission to only 2 documents?
Okay.
This will be the first one I gave to you.
Yes. Honorable Chairman, honorable members, if we read paragraph 2 of the cover letter, so a number of the questions that were asked here.
Can you give me the document?
Can you give me another one?
Where is the document?
Okay, help me give him. Is it the same one?
The letter is not done.
No, I have my own letter.
I'm not saying that it's for you.
Yes. What am I supposed to do with
When
it?
somebody when a contractor has finished his job,
Yes,
or a mileage to a certain extent,
yes.
it's expected that the ministry or the agencies will write for payment, issuing a certificate, given to your agencies and given to the Ministry of Finance. You are expected to have foreclosed those documents that is sent to Chinese Exim Bank to be able to make such authority to pay. Am I right or wrong?
As far as the Debt Management Office knows, we don't sign off on job completion certificates.
the Ministry of Finance.
Well, I'm seeking for the DMO. Maybe the Ministry of Finance would respond to that part of the question. So if you check the schedule we sent, like you said you asked us for several things. We had 3 appendices.
Yes.
Appendix 1 responds individually to all of this, and it says which one we have.
Please,
and
can you
which one
speak
we
to the
don't.
document?
Okay, so let's go
Yeah.
back. So this, I don't
Let me
know,
have that.
on Galaxy background. Yeah. Okay, so the letter the DMO received from the committee had 14 requirements in the attached schedule. So what we did in Appendix 1, attached to the letter, to our letter dated 14th August, was to list these 14 items and put the DMO's comments there. So the ones that we have, we've put them there. So technically, we have responded to all, including the ones that we don't do, like asking about whether we do job completion, whether we sign off on job completion certificates. So the first item there, so what I'm saying, the letter is a cover letter. This schedule, Appendix 1, is what responds to each of this here in details. So the first question we have here is details of agreed repayment schedules. And we say, please see repayment schedules in Appendix 3. And for each of the loans, in Appendix 3, there's a separate sheet for each loan repayment for the full 20 years of the loans. Okay, so that's Appendix 3, and we provided it there as a guide. It said details of drawdown schedule used on each of the facilities. So we said, please contact the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, and they're here, they will respond to that. Record of all actual drawdown till date. That is provided in Appendix 2. So we can see in Appendix 2, each of the loans from China, each of the loans, it says what the currency is, the loan amount, agreement date. It tells you how much has been disbursed. All the charges as well in Appendix 2 is listed. So we know what has been disbursed.
Okay,
what is
in your
outstanding.
Appendix 2,
Yes, sir.
which you provided the spreadsheet
Yes.
of the status of 14 loans agreements as against the listed bilateral agreements with China. We have also noted in your submission that you omitted status information on what? A, supply of communication satellite, NICOMSAT, 1. B, supply of communication satellite NICOMSAT 1 to R. And C, contract for the supply, clearing and installation, testing, and commissioning of National Rural Telephone Project Phase 1 and 2 between Federal Government of Nigeria represented by the Ministry of Communication and Hawaii Technology in China. Have you anything to say?
Well, these are all the documents we have in our record.
I just raised an issue.
Yes.
You should respond.
That's what I'm trying to do, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. As far as we know in our records, these are everything.
You omitted that because we have also details of the NICOMSAT.
Okay. Maybe.
We have those details. Why did you omit that?
I'm not aware that we omitted any.
I'm just telling you now. So show me.
Well, we'll try and check. We'll see what you have and compare with our records, sir.
It's okay. An accumulated debt portfolio of over $8 billion based on principal amount and interest payable from now till at least in the 19 years based on the maturity of this loan. In your Appendix 2.
Okay, so.
Now, there are most of the schedules
Yes.
in the
Appendix 3.
in the contractual agreements were also not attached. They were omitted.
So what we have at the DMO keeps are the loan agreements. That's what the Debt Management Office works on. So if it's a loan agreement, we submitted them earlier, the first time you asked for those loan agreements.
Yeah, we asked. I think we worked on it, and that's why we're asking these questions.
I wouldn't know.
We have also seen from your submission that loan agreements on Nigerian 40 parboiled rice processing plant project, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, to the tune of $326.6 million are yet to receive disbursed 4 years after signing the loan agreement.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think for some of the questions you asked us, if I may, Honorable Chairman, you did ask us about disbursement, actual drawdown till date and drawdown schedule used on each loan. We did include in our response that the Ministry of Finance will provide that. So the DMO can't respond to that question now.
So you are telling us that the Ministry of Finance is only legitimate?
For disbursement, there's a process for the multilateral and bilateral loans, which are very clear.
And you that manages them do not have such copies?
These are based on milestones, sir.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
You see, you that have that, yeah, you that manages the debt issues of Nigeria do not have those copies? Are you telling us you're just managing debts without having those copies? To have detail of what you're managing?
We'll have what is in the loan agreement, sir.
Is that what you're telling us?
We'll have what is in the loan agreement, sir.
So please provide these issues. The loan, section 16(1), page 13, under the loan content obligation of the contractor. Article 16(1) stated, the contractor shall develop and submit to the employer Ministry of Transport for its approval a local content plan for the training and engagement of Nigerian labor force in all aspects of the contractor works on the project. It contains in that agreement. Can you provide this honorable committee with satisfied copies of labor plan, training programs carried out, and beneficiaries, and evidence of number of Nigerians working in all aspects of this project vis-a-vis their Chinese counterpart as provided in that agreement document?
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I've been trying to manage myself since you made your speech, so I'll give you a slight response to your speech and I'll answer your question. The slight response to your speech is that I will repeat here that we need to be more patriotic than we have been. Mr. Chairman.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
No, sir. I have a right to speak.
Please,
it is right because you invited me.
I've given him right to speak.
You have invited me. I was once a member of the House, so I know the right of the guests that you invited. Now, Mr. Chairman, if you say Minister of Transport had a contract of 33 billion, we want to see it. Because as Minister for Transport, the only contract we've awarded so far is $1.6 billion contract for Lagos-Ibadan, which is under threat. Can
you speak to the questions I asked you now? You see, I told you from the beginning.
I have a choice.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
I have two choices.
Please.
You gotta let me speak, or I stop.
Excuse me. We are guided by rules. And
sir.
I'm coming. Just a minute.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm coming. Just a minute.
Guidance, please.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Please, just a minute. This is rules which we obey. From day one, I said when we ask questions, we will time, you answer the question directly. We wouldn't want to go from question.
Mr. Chairman, the implication of having a $3 billion contract is that I will have a large number of workers. Mr. Chairman, there is no $33 billion contract in Ministry of Transport. What we have in Ministry of Transport is $1.6 billion contract awarded under President Buhari and an $800 million contract awarded by President Goodluck Jonathan. If it is a $1.6 billion contract, which is all we know, because by the time we came, the contract awarded by President Goodluck Jonathan, signed by Aganga, had been completed 80%. So we did not have to do anything of local content or local content. The only one that we have to deal with the issue of local content, which is the only contract that we have for now, is the $1.6 billion contract awarded from Lagos to Ibadan. $1.6 billion, for which Chinese government is providing 1.2, and we are providing the remaining $400 million. Mr. Chairman, there are over 20,000 workers. Only 560 of them are Chinese. 560, and I wish to submit the document.
Can we have the document?
Because we need to begin to say the truth to
Can we
Nigerians.
have the document?
Mr. Chairman, I beg to submit the document. Don't worry, I know the House will raise them.
I know when to raise that. Can you sign this document, please? Please, please.
So, Mr. Chairman, for over 20 to 30,000 workers, you have only 560
And please,
Chinese
can you
workers.
adopt it?
How else do you adopt it? Bring it, I'll adopt it for you. Because it's good to tell Nigerians the truth. This is very political.
Nobody is telling lies.
And I will show all the contracts awarded by the PDP government since you want to bring this up.
Mr. Chairman, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir,
My
guidance.
friend, I beg, I'm in control of this committee.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Chairman.
will observe you when the need arises.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Please, the minister is speaking, and I will not observe any other members. Please, let the minister finish his speech. I will give you room to talk.
Thank you, Chairman.
So, Mr. Chairman, the contract awarded by this government by this government is $1.2 billion contribution by the Chinese, and the $400 million about that by the federal government of Nigeria. And we have.
Can you speak to this document? Please, you have provided documents. How many Nigerians are in this document?
I say we employed over 10 to 20,000
Not
workers.
over. Just give me a
Oh,
exact.
then you have to allow me go back
Please,
and
can
get
you
the
give me
workers.
exact? Because
I will give you the
that's why I
exact.
say you should speak to the document.
I'll give you the exact numbers of
Please
workers.
do now.
I will. You asked about training. Mr. Chairman, over 150 Nigerians are in China being trained as
Can we have
engineers.
documents of Nigerians that you have taken to China, please?
We'll provide that for you.
Can we have the document, please?
Okay, well, they say they didn't ask us, so we'll bring it. If you're asking for it now, we'll bring it for you
Can you
later.
bring that document tomorrow?
We'll give it to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Now, apart from that, they have built 2 training institutions. One in Idu, and I would like the chairman to come and visit. We are also building a university in Daura.
Can you also provide a Chinese counterpart that are working in those projects?
Which project?
That project?
I'll give you the total number of the Chinese, sir.
Is that?
I've given you the total number of the Chinese workers.
Is he here?
Yes.
It's among this one?
Yes.
It's okay. Please, can you refer me to it?
Right to you how?
Can you refer me to the aspect of where Chinese people that are working there?
What we did is we provided you with all the names of Chinese workers on that project.
My question separated how many Nigerians
Are what?
that are working in that project.
Which project? Which project now?
So the document you submitted now.
This document provides for you all the Chinese workers on the Lagos-Ibadan, what is asked for. Lagos-Ibadan, these are all the Chinese working on that project.
Okay, what of the Nigerians?
We just told you here now that since you're asking for it now, we'll provide it to you tomorrow.
Okay, you don't have the Nigerians. Oh,
Because you didn't ask for it, so tomorrow we'll provide it for you.
it's okay.
And there are over 10,000.
I gave you that document. You didn't reply it.
Which
We
document?
wrote to you.
I didn't see that.
To provide that to us.
I didn't see that, Mr. Chairman.
Please, clerk, can you give me that document? We wrote to him, please.
So, Mr. Chairman,
I'm coming. We'll take it step by step. Chinese. What am I saying? What do you now need after that one? The letter is clear. Just as I didn't want to hold you. Listen, Mr. Minister. I respect you a lot. I didn't want to hold you to it. That's why I didn't speak to it initially. The documents was forwarded to you, and we expected you to send those documents to us. But you didn't. I just want to pick you up on particular documents you submitted to us. We needed further clarification. We wouldn't have been arguing all these ones if you have provided those clarifications. So we expect that by tomorrow you get the extra document. No, but taking you on this, are you aware, Mr. Honorable Minister, of the $11.1 billion on Nigerian Coastal Railway project that was signed on 1st of July 2016?
has the loan been approved?
I'm asking you, are you aware?
I'm aware, but has the loan been approved?
You see, sometimes I allow you to make a lot of statements initially, and you restricted yourself to 1 or 2 key issues.
Okay, Mr. Chairman.
I just want to intimate
Mr.
you.
Chairman,
Yeah, I'm coming. Can you allow me, please? You see, it's a friendly discussion. I didn't put you on oath.
If you, not me, if you are friendly, you won't put her on oath.
Please, can you put the Honorable Minister on oath? Please do. Please do.
I swear that
the contract, the commercial agreement. Now, the contractor further covenants that it shall give priority to the engagement of Nigerian commercial firms and companies for the supply of goods and materials and all other works. Can you provide us with evidence and records of Nigerian commercial firms and companies currently being engaged and providing services of this project?
it's important, I tell you, sir, that that contract was signed as a prelude to a loan, and there is no loan. And we may not get the loan because of you, Mr. Chairman. Because of the committee you've set up against the China loan, South-South, that contract is from Lagos to Calabar, which is the whole of the South-South. Mr. Chairman, we may not get that loan, so there's no contract.
I am talking about the same contract you told me of this particular...
Which of them? The 2016 contract you talked about?
Yes. This one.
Which of them?
This
if you're talking about the South-South, you just asked me. You want to meet the South-South contract?
Virtually all the contracts.
Do you want to meet the South-South contract? If you want to meet, say you want to meet it, let's go to the other one.
Can you listen to me? Follow me. We're not quarreling.
Because you're from South-South. The committee you have set up, which you're questioning, we will lose that contract from Lagos to Calabar. So,
please, this issue is not issue of South-South, it's issue of Nigeria. And I'm serving Nigeria as a legislator. If we continue to serve our geopolitical zone, this country will not be nice. If Zone 8 gets their fair share, and next year...
Have you not approached me on South-South? Have you not approached me on South-South Rail? Have you not approached me on South-South Rail?
I have not.
You have?
I have not.
Mr. Chairman, you have approached me.
It's okay. It's okay, it's okay. We will not degenerate the issue to South-South or any other South.
Have you not approached me on South-South Rail? You have approached me.
It's okay. Temper. We'll take it small, small. The issue we are talking today is the issue that concerns Nigeria. My priority as this committee chairman is to make sure any area we are taking rail is viable, and it will promote the economic activities of Nigeria and bring about a multiplier effect. That's my concern, and that's my philosophy, irrespective of any area you push any rail to. I'm a Nigerian, and I believe in Nigerian spirit. Now, my question is to all the projects that you're handling. The contract further covenant that it shall give priority to engagement of Nigerian commercial firms and companies for the supply of goods and materials and all other works. Can you diligently provide us with evidence and records of Nigerian commercial firms and companies currently being engaged and providing services on these projects?
Which of the contracts?
On these projects.
Which of the projects? Now?
Any of the one.
You read one on Coastal
Any
Rail?
of the one I've listed, even including your Lagos one.
Okay, so let's start with Coastal Rail. There is no contract on Coastal Rail.
It's okay.
What I mean by there is no contract is until you get the loan, there is no contract.
It's okay.
And the implication is that we may not get the loan, so there will be no contract.
It's okay.
Okay. The Lagos Ibadan.
Yeah.
I'm not the contractor. He will supply us at the end of the contract.
Did you sign this agreement on this commercial contract with your ministry signed with the contractor?
First is that the contract was in existence under Obasanjo. All we did is sign the contract that was given under Obasanjo's regime. But that's not the issue. If you want the documents of the sublet contract, we will give it to you tomorrow, sir.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
If the committee agree on that, those documents will be provided because it's not available now. That is good. Now, on issues of trade, the agreement also stated in undertaking its obligations under this article, the contractor shall, it's a command, at all times be subject to lawful directions of a general or specific nature by the supervising ministers, and the contractor shall be under obligation to comply with such directions. That's what you will sign. Honorable Minister, my legislative maestro, because I know you are an authority in the legislative arm. Can you please tell us example of some of the lawful directions you have given and your experience in complying and enforcing the above provisions of this agreement? Have you encountered any conflict of interest? What will be the consequences if the contractor fails to comply with your lawful direction?
Unfortunately, I've given no one, and I try within my responsibility not to get involved in conflict of interest, Mr. Chairman. So I've given no one, and I intend not to give except where it contravenes the terms of the contract.
It's okay. Nigerians have heard that he has given no directions. I can listen to you now.
Your mic.
Honorable Alotu.
And result-oriented outing. Loans, be it external or local, are booked by the DMO office.
When you raise a point of observation,
Let me learn, Mr. Chairman, sir.
Sometimes I can rule you off because I want you to go to the direction.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm only trying to guide you.
You can't guide me.
Mr. Chairman, with due respect, you do respect. Mr. Chairman, with due respect, I'm your senior in this parliament and I can guide you.
Honorable member, Honorable member, you are co-opted into this committee. You are co-opted into this committee.
Okay, thank you, my chairman.
I'm coming.
You have your way. You have
please,
your...
I'm in charge of this committee.
Thank
please.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, please.
I withdraw my question. Opinion.
Thank you very much, please. Thank you. Question 4, Honorable Minister. Article 16(2) stated, at all times and for the avoidance of doubt, the contractor shall comply with Nigerian federal or state laws, the Executive Order 003 of 2017 titled Executive Order on Support of Local Content in Public Procurement by the federal government, May 18, 2017, regulations and policies in relation to the promotion and enforcement of local content provisions in the execution of projects, whether specifically mentioned in this agreement or otherwise. Can you provide us with details of how the contractors have materially complied with these provisions?
Mr. Chairman, I hope you're not repeating yourself. And let me tell why I say I hope you don't repeat yourself. You asked me to bring the names of those who have been employed, who are Nigerians. That's local content. You asked me to bring the names of those they have sublet contract to. That's local content. Unless you want to be the general contractor, in which case it's no longer local content.
I don't think that's
Can you repeat your question? Can you repeat your question?
That shouldn't be your response at all.
Can you repeat your question? You said I should provide you with documents to show local content. You have earlier asked me to provide you with workers who are Nigerians, and I said tomorrow morning.
Is that the only local content?
Can you hold on, sir? When you said I should provide you with that, I said tomorrow. You asked me to provide you with the contractors who are Nigerians who are doing contracts there. I said tomorrow I will ask the company to provide you with that. So the top question you're repeating is that you're repeating those two questions, sir.
Honorable Ministers, I say, can you provide us with details of how the contractors have complied materially with these provisions? Now, there are provisions in the contract agreements. If you are taking local content, has those contractors complied with it? It's a question of supervisions on those critical areas. If we also want to know the quality of what that project being executed is in line with the specification.
Maybe the House needs to appoint a supervising engineer. For us in Ministry of Transport, we are convinced about the quality. Nigerians are using the rail going to Kaduna from Abuja. Very soon in September, we'll begin to use the one from Lagos to Ibadan. If the committee is in doubt of the quality of work, we'll be glad if you appoint a supervising engineering company that can come and find out that it's part of oversight function, Mr. Chairman.
It's okay for shielding the responsibility of the executive to the legislators. We'll see to it, and we'll also use it to rate the executive whether they are actually working in lines with the specification that are provided. We'll do that. We'll make that recommendation. Your question 5. In Addendum 2A, page 3 and 4 on the Lagos-Ibadan segment of the railway modernization project worth over $1.5 billion, signed on 22nd of December 2016. The contract agreement was signed by you and witnessed by one I.J. Uche Okoro, who simply identified himself as a civil servant without a designation and addressed as Federal Minister of Transport. Who is this I.J. Uche Okoro, and what is his official designation, stroke rank in the ministry?
Mr. Chairman, as a former member of the House, I'm trying hard to manage what I say so that nobody will say I'm bringing the House to ridicule. Mr. Chairman, the person who signed the paper is a civil servant. And Director of Legal is a civil servant. Who is the Permanent Secretary here? Is that not? So what does he want?
Is the man a Director of Legal?
She is a Director of Legal.
She's a Director of Legal. She didn't sign it as a Director of Legal.
If she signs as a civil servant, has she contravened the law, sir?
Any other person can sign as a civil servant.
Did they
but
tell,
we must know who is
Mr.
designated
Chairman,
an
did
office.
they tell you the class of person that will sign? They didn't. They didn't say the witness must be a director or the witness must be a governor.
So you will not take a messenger to sign your document?
Well, it's the law. It's the law you pass.
Which law can you
The
provide?
one you pass. So no, there's no law that said it must be.
Can you provide us with a law?
Is there a law that says it must be?
The ministers, you have gone to sign because a minister representing that ministry.
Mr. Chairman, I could refuse to go, and any other person could have signed on our behalf.
So any other person from your ministry can go and sign without your authority?
I could designate,
No,
I could delegate it to anybody to sign.
You can delegate?
Yes, sir.
Because you have a portfolio, so you cannot delegate.
Yes,
now,
sir.
who did you delegate this position? For us to be able to attach that document to an officer who signed that document,
okay, Mr. Chairman.
You must define the particular, the designation of such officer.
Mr. Chairman. Of the House is to appoint for you legislative assistants. Is that not true? Please, sir, ask the legislative assistant to read our booklet. You will see addendum 2.
Mr. Honorable Minister, I took time to go through your documents. I took time. And if that page is not available here in the document you provided.
Sorry, what's going on? Let me see that. So, speaker, sit here. That's what I'm saying. Let's speaker, sit here. Come on. Come on. Come on, you can sit here. Gentlemen, please, can we just take a break for about 10 to 15 minutes, please? Let's take a break for 10 to 15 minutes.
Can we sit down, please? Can we sit down?
Speaker is calling you.
I know. Can we sit down, please? Can we sit down? Can we sit down? Yeah, thank you very much.
Just take a break for 20 minutes.
You know, sometimes, thank you. Honorable Ministers, distinguished honorable colleagues, DGs of parastatals and agencies, honorable members of the press, we shall resume after 30 minutes break to address most of these issues again. So we'll take a 30 minutes break on this matter. Thank you.
Move. Chairman, hit your gavel now.
We have hit.
Huh?
We have hit.
Well, okay.
Hit the gavel, sir.
You can reach us in 10 minutes time. You can reach us in another 10 minutes time. 10, 15 minutes time. We are going on break.
Yeah, this document we want to read through it. You just hand it over to me. No, don't worry. I'll give it back to you. I'll give it back to you. To be forwarded to us tomorrow. That's what we expect, that document should be forwarded tomorrow. Yeah, honorable colleagues, there is only one item on the issues of Ministry of Works, and that contract execution has not really commenced. And I see no reason why we should continue to delay the Minister of Work here. So, Minister of Work, we will continue to interface with you as long as that agreement exists. And we pray that your ministry will be able to accord us that respect and interface. We want to know what is going on it. So in due course, you try to reach out to us and intimate us of the process of that contract. Thank you. So you are discharged. 24.204 million dollars. Signed by the Honorable Minister of Transport on the 23rd of December. I think I'm correct. Yes, sir. Yeah, 2019. Without a witness, as shown in page 14. As shown in page. You can bring the page if you have a copy of it. As shown in page 14 of the addendum 2B. Since you are aware, there's no need asking you that question. So if you can provide it to us too.
Yeah. In fact, the head of legal is supposed to sign as witness, so better provide the documents to the committee. So tomorrow we'll provide you
it's okay, because
the variation of contract in Lagos Ibadan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Because I know that is a standard practice. That is Nakan. Yeah. I also see page 3. Yeah, the agreement was signed like the one you used to sign before with the local content, was signed without a clause on local content obligations of the contractor and was witnessed by one ex-Zachary, that is Permanent Secretary, who identified his occupation as public servant from the Federal Ministry of Transport. You already defined it that it's a PS, have you? Yes.
The Permanent Secretary, it was the Permanent Secretary until...
it's good when you are signing such document. proper thing to be done is the designation of the officer should be also be there so that we know the kind of person that are signing those documents.
Article 14 of the addendum number 3.1, which is Kaduna Rigasa, Kaduna Zaria, is part of the Kaduna Kano. You will see the local content obligations of the contractor there.
Okay, can you please show me that, please? And show the comment.
You require. That is what I was trying to say.
So can you provide this to this committee with records of the revenue and payment escrow account maintained on this on the above projects? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll provide you the list of accounts we have opened. Some of them are not even operational yet.
You provided it to us?
No, I'm saying that we will provide you.
You will provide
with
it.
What we have.
But we wrote to you to provide it to us.
If you check this list, most of the information you require are there. If you check numbers 3 and number 13, these are they are provided there. But if you are talking of the inflows into escrow account,
yeah,
those they've just been opened, and we can get you details of that.
When can we get those details?
Well, I cannot promise tomorrow because we have to write to the banks to provide the information.
It's a document that is within your domain.
No, it's not within our domain because these accounts were opened in banks. So we have to get the information from them and then pass them on to you.
So when do you think you can pass these documents to us?
I believe that the investigation, this hearing is still going on for a couple of days. Before it ends, we should be able to get some information across to you, sir.
Can you also provide us with official document and evidence of irrevocable notice of drawdown made on the facilities?
Absolutely.
Are you with it now?
For drawdown, they are here.
Okay.
They are here. If you look at the list, this is the drawdown. If you see the table.
Is it?
That is for the ongoing loan. For loans that have not yet been approved, there's nothing that has been drawn down.
I mean notices.
Excuse me?
Notices?
Notices?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Those facilities, what was said is to provide us with official documents and evidence of irrevocable notices of drawdown made on the facilities.
Okay, you notice of drawdown.
Yeah.
Then we'll have to go into our files and photocopy the...
That's I asked you a question whether you are with it. You say you have provided.
No, the list of drawdown is what we have here.
So you don't have that document with you now?
Yes, we don't.
So when do you think you can bring that document?
We'll put that together in the next 48 hours with your kind permission, sir. Okay.
Can you submit that?
I was told that they have been submitted to the Secretariat, please, sir.
The clerk, was it submitted?
Secretariat. Please,
was it submitted to the Secretariat? The clerk said no. He said he brought tables.
Excuse me?
He said he brought tables.
The Secretariat.
Yeah. That is the clerk's talking.
Yes.
Clerk, can you reconcile that with him?
It's not table of disbursement.
She was already reconciled that with him. Okay?
Please, let's reconcile this offline, okay? We have table of disbursement. There are other documentation that have been submitted to you. Yes, exactly.
We also requested for the budget line. We requested for the budget line for those that has counterpart funding.
Yes.
Budget line and release used in loan repayment and payment of counterpart funds, obligation of Nigerian government. We also requested for that.
No, we can provide that.
You do have it now?
No, that has not been provided.
We requested for those documents. We did. Because we wanted to reconcile it with each ministry's own.
Yes.
And if we don't have that document, we won't be able to balance the...
We'll get that across to you.
Yeah, so why are you frustrating this committee?
No, we're not frustrating you. We
Yeah,
have
because what you are
absolutely-
doing now, you are frustrating. If you have given us those documents before, we're able to, nail virtually every assignment we are doing.
Addendum 14.
Yes, Article
Number
14.
4, Article 14.
1 and 2, and page 10.
Yes. So it says this now takes care of what I directed them. I was very explicit that all those contracts that are or items that are locally sourced that Nigerians can produce, let Nigerians be the suppliers and the contractors. And all of them shouldn't come from China.
I think you'll deal with the issue when you go.
In fact, it's even applicable, even though we didn't take it to consideration in Lagos Ibadan. It's applicable in Lagos Ibadan. Doors, windows that they were to bring from China, we rejected. We insisted that we can produce doors and windows here in Nigeria. So for such services as civil works, cement, tires, rods, all those items can be sourced here, so they should. And they have been complying with those items. Okay, sir. Come on.
July 2016. According to item B in the contract agreement, the federal government revised the project under the directive of His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and in view of the content.
What may have happened, we were just new, and there was an already existing contract, which was at 11.6, so which already had been signed. Why you see my signature is that we renegotiated not the terms, but the sum of the contract. The sum was 11.6, and we brought it down to 11.1. No, it was more than 11.9, and we brought it down to 11.1 billion. So they would not have agreed that we should renegotiate the terms of the contract. This contract was signed before we came. It was signed under President Goodluck's government. So they negotiated it. All I did was I disagreed with the cost, because a contractor from China told me that it could be done lower than 11.9. So a fresh negotiation of the cost brought us down to 11.1. This contract was actually signed by the former Minister for Transportation under the President Goodluck Jonathan's government. The same, because they wouldn't have agreed that we should negotiate the terms. Where we held them down was on the cost. Yes.
Honorable Minister, you see, there's one particular contract you signed. When I was watching the document, I was happy because you define